I recorded this video a week ago, but I found out that my book tour was way too long and I was gonna have to divide it up into probably 3 parts. So here is the second part, going through these 2 shelves here, I believe. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. To my next shelf, here we have the Curse Breakers series, and well, I'm just gonna take them out first. So here is the Curse Breakers series. It's a trilogy, and these are some of the prettiest books that I own. So yeah, here's the back if you want to pause and read about it. Basically, this is about Prince Ren, who is cursed. Oh, I should probably start by saying that this right here is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So it's about Prince Ren, who is cursed to... Wait, how much can I say? Okay, you don't know how he's cursed, but he's cursed. And I think he relives the same fall over and over again until, you know, someone can come and break the curse. And yeah, then you have Harper. She actually lives in this world. I think she's from Washington, D.C. And long story short, she ends up in the Emberfall, which is where this book takes place. And yeah, it's about, you know, the mystery behind the curse and why he's cursed and how he's cursed and then how to fix the curse, you know. So yeah, fantasy, romance, Beauty and the Beast retelling. Yeah, each of these books they have multiple perspectives. This one is actually from different characters' perspective. These are from 2 different characters' perspectives. And then this final book is in the perspective of all 4 of them. So, yeah. And, I believe a spin-off just came out. I think it's called Forging Silver into Stars or something like that. And that's about a different... Or, actually, I don't know who that's about. But I know it takes place in, the places in here, if that makes any sense. It's the same universe, same country. Yeah, here is the map. And then this, I remember having a pretty good first line. There was blood under my fingernails. I wonder how many of my people I've killed this time. So yeah, if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. Yeah, these are pretty good. I've read these, if that wasn't already obvious. The next book is Defy the Night, and this is actually by the same author that wrote Curse Breakers. It's from Bridget Kemmerer. And yeah, another beautiful book. Wait. All her books have beautiful covers. Yep, here's the back if you want to quickly read about it. This is another fantasy romance. And it also has dual perspectives. So it's told from both, what are their names? Tessa and Coric's point of view. And basically, there's some kind of disease going around this place. And there's like this very specific plant that is like the only known cure for this disease. And I believe, yeah, Tessa is an apothecary. And she actually... Wait, how much can I say about this? Tessa is an apothecary. And she's also an outlaw. And I think she and another character sneak into the palace where they have like big like storage areas of this plant, which is the only known cure for this disease. And, you know, she'll create the antidote or whatever and then distribute it to the people of her village or whatever, because I think she comes from a pretty like poverty-stricken area. And yeah, that's all I can really tell you for now. But yeah, I thought this was really good. Also, the map is beautiful. And then let's go check out the first line. Oh, also, here's some extra information, which is pretty cool. The hardest part of this job isn't the stealing, it's the escaping. Boom. So yeah, this is really good. And I think this is also a very good book to get out of a reading slump, or to first get into books, because I feel like it's rather fast-paced and it's easy to get into from the start, and there's not... The politics in this world isn't really very hard to get into. The world building isn't very difficult. There's no magic system, so it's simple, and, you know, it's rather short as well. It's like a normal-sized book. Short, sweet, you love the characters, the world is like simple and sweet, and yeah, I recommend this. I forgot to mention that Defy the Night is not a completed series. The second book is coming out this fall sometime. Don't know how many books there's gonna be, but just, you know, a little heads up. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger, but, you know, it's still useful information. The next book is a Percy Jackson book, and I've not read it. I believe this is the third book, so I don't know why I have it and not the others, but, you know, I guess that's motivation to buy the rest of the series. I will have to read it at some point. I'll have to read the Percy Jackson series at some point. And yeah, I think everyone knows about Percy Jackson, but it's in this world of demigods, so I don't really know what else I can tell you about that. And then we have Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed. Let me just take these out. Yeah, Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed. These are some beautiful covers, but why are they different sizes? Why? Yeah, wish I had known about this. But yeah, here is the back, if you want to pause and read it. Fantasy, but it's like a different flavor of fantasy. It's not like fae and fairies and I don't know. This is more like, this is about witches and demons and stuff. It's like dark fantasy, and I actually really like it. I think there's a map in here. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that nice? And I don't think the first line was anything like groundbreaking. Outside, wind rattled the wooden chimes in warning. Yeah, nothing special. But basically, this is about Emilia, who wants to avenge her sister. So there's definitely an aspect of like mystery in here, because she's trying to like, first of all, figure out who killed her, and then why, and of course little clues show up here and there, and then more things confuse her, more people come in the picture, and, you know, a lot of fantasy and mystery, but it's also a romance. On her path to revenge, she actually summons a demon, Wrath. So yeah. Actually, it's more than just a demon. It's a, like, demon lord or something. I can't remember what they're called. Princes of Hell, yeah. So yeah, that's really nice. These two, I think both these books are, first of all, very easy to get through. They're very easy reads. And, you know, they're good. They're pretty addictive. But I feel like it's definitely worth mentioning that this book is spicy. This one isn't. I think they go up in age rating for this book. So, you know, some people like that, some people don't. I personally would have rather had it without, because I'm not very much into spiciness in fantasy books. But, you know, a lot of people loved it. This is not a completed series. I think it's going to be a trilogy, so we're only missing one book, and that's coming out in the fall. So, I think it was like August or September or something, Kingdom of the Feared. So, yeah, it's almost a completed series. You just gotta wait a little bit longer. But, yeah, I think these are definitely worth the read. Next up is The Shadows Between Us, which is like the only hardcover book I have. I think this is the only hardcover book I have. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, whoa. Anyway. This is a standalone fantasy romance. And, yeah, here's the back, if you're interested. What's the main character's name again? Alessandra or something? Wait. I think her name was Alessandra. Anyway, it's about the main character who, well, she definitely has, like, badass female character vibes, so that's something. And her goal is to woo the Shadow King, I think is what it's called, Shadow King, and marry him and then kill him, so she can take, you know, his place for herself. This book definitely has the best first line ever. Hold up. They've never found the body of the first and only boy who broke my heart, and they never will. How awesome is that? That is awesome. Okay, so, yeah, it's a rather, like, short and sweet book. I mean, it's, like, tall. It's a big book, but it's not thick. And, like, the writing is pretty, like, airy. I feel like it's not, like, cluttered with tons of text per page. So, It's like, something about this writing was just very easy to get through. I think I read this in like 2 or 3 days, which is quick for me, because it was during a time where I actually wasn't reading very much, but I read this much. I mean, I read this book a lot for some reason. Yeah, there is no magic system. There's not really any politics to get into. There's no world building, which works with this book because it's just a standalone, and you're reading this for, you know, the characters. You're reading this for Alessandra and the Shadow King, and, you know, that unfolding. So yeah, this actually works with no world building. Short, sweet. Yeah, I recommend it. I feel like I should have mentioned that this is enemies to lovers. I completely forgot about that. Next up is the second book in the Raven Cycle series, or the Raven Boys. I think that's what the series is called. I don't know. The Dream Thieves. This is the second book in the series because it was on sale at one of the stores over here. So yeah, I have the 3 other books on the way. I have no clue what this is about, but it looks... First of all, it's beautiful. It feels very good, too. It's like a nice texture. Of course, you guys can't feel that, but... yeah, from what I heard of it, it sounded very intriguing. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to read this. So yeah, I can't tell you anything about what it's about, but it's fantasy, I can tell you that much, and it's probably romance. So, yeah. My sister has the first book, so I'll go through the first line when I go through her books. I forgot to mention that. I'm also going to go through my sister's bookshelf, because she's also started collecting books, and I feel like it's worth showing hers as well, especially since her bookshelf is much prettier, because it's, like, color-themed. But, anyway. Also, I forgot to mention that all the books here, because I live in Norway, all the books here were bought, well, most of them are from Nordli, or Outland, and if not, then maybe a few are from Ark, and the ones that aren't available in Norway, I bought from Amazon UK, so yeah, that's where all these books are from. Next up are the 4 books in the Red Queen series. I actually got these from my friends for my birthday. Have not read them, but 2 of my friends are on this book, and then my sister made it through the first 3 books. I don't actually know very much about these books. Here's what the first one looks like, and here's the back if you want to read about it. From what I've understood, it has something to do with, like, being divided by blood. So I think, like, the commoners or whatever are born with red blood, and then I don't know, the special people, whether they're, like, I don't know, royalty or lords, or I don't know how it works in this book. I'm assuming that the people with more status are born with silver blood. And yeah, that's all I know about this. I've heard that the first book is really good, but then it kind of falls off with these. So I think I'm actually just going to read the first book, because I tend to have the same opinions as my sister, and books 2 and 3 were very difficult for her to get through. Oh, shit. So I don't think I want to put myself through that. I think I'd rather just end it on a good note. I'll just read this book. So, yeah. Fantasy, dystopian romance. So, yeah. I guess you love it or you hate it. And then I have Legendborn, which is a beautiful cover. But, bought this because it was on sale. I know absolutely nothing about it. I'm gonna assume this is fantasy romance as well. Here's the back if you want to read about it. But again, I like going in knowing absolutely nothing, so let's go find the first line together. The police officer's body goes blurry, then sharpens again. So yeah, beautiful book. I believe this is not finished, because I'm pretty sure I've seen that the sequel is coming out sometime this year, or is it out? I don't know. I'm fairly certain I've seen a sequel to this, so I don't know. Next up, next shelf. Here I have my little contemporary section, because I don't have a lot of contemporary books, and yeah, contemporary. And then the remaining of my fantasy books. These are all unread, but I'll get to that later. Starting with You've Reached Sam, the prettiest book I own, and also fairly certain this is the US cover, because books over here are not that floppy. I wish they were. Who doesn't love a good floppy book? But, like, yeah. It is absolutely beautiful. My phone is not doing it justice at all. Beautiful book. This is contemporary. I don't really know what other genres to give it because I don't know if I can call it romance because he's dead. Basically, this book is about Julie, who she had all these plans after high school to like go off and, you know, buy an apartment and live with her boyfriend Sam, and then he dies, and it kind of throws her into a loop, and she decides to call him to hear his, like, what's it called, voicemail, whatever. And he picks up. So it's kind of like a second chance to say goodbye. Here's the back, by the way. So yeah, she calls her dead boyfriend and he picks up. You can imagine that this is a pretty sad book. So I don't really know what else there is to say about it. Up here it says, how do you move forward when everything you love is on the line? And then I realized everything she loves is literally on the line, on the phone line, because she's calling Sam. So yeah. This whole book is basically her saying goodbye to Sam. It's sad. There must be a curse with the name Sam, because all the Sams I read about always die. But yeah, let's go through the first line together. The second I close my eyes, the memories play, and I find myself back at the beginning. It's a very tiny book. I think it's like just barely over 300 pages. Oh, it's not even 300 pages. So yeah, you could definitely read this in one sitting. Don't think that's very good for your mental health, but, you know, in theory, you can. So yeah, it's short, it's sweet. The chapters are rather long, though, but they don't feel very long if you get very immersed into the story. But yeah. Next up is It Ends With Us, with the one and only Colleen Hoover. This was the first Colleen Hoover book I ever read. It set the bar very high. I pretty much just started from the top, so it can only go downhill from here. I don't know why I decided to start with this book, but let's get into this. Contemporary. Very sad book. If you've been on Book Talk, first of all, if you're on the fantasy side, then you've definitely seen ACOTAR. But if you're on the contemporary side, you've definitely seen It Ends With Us. This is like the Book Talk / Bookstagram book. And with good reason. Here is the back, if you're interested. The thing with this book is that I think it's the best to go in knowing absolutely nothing. That's what I did. But I can't really sell it without saying something. But at the same time, if you go in expecting something else, I'm scared it might disappoint you. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can even call this romance, to be honest. Actually, if you think you might read this book ever, maybe just stop here and then, like, don't hear anything else about it. Because I think the shock factor is very important, but the only bad reviews that I've seen of this book has been because people have gone in expecting something else. So if you're going in expecting this to be a cozy story about, you know, a cozy, like, romance story, then you will be disappointed, because that is not, that's not what this is about. Maybe check the trigger warnings as well, because this book is definitely kind of tough. It takes up a lot of tough but important topics, which is why I think this is one of the best books ever written. This is my third favorite. My favorite is Queen of Shadows. Second favorite is The Wicked King. This is my third favorite, but honestly, I think this is the best book I've ever read. I don't think anything will ever top this, just because I think it's, first of all, it's written very well, and it touches upon a topic that is so unbelievably important. So it's not just that I recommend this book, it's also that I believe that everyone should read it, just because of what this book talks about, or informs us about, I guess. Yeah. This is about abuse. I feel like that's something you guys probably should know going into it. But yeah, definitely a sad book. Never fully recovered from this book. If you guys have read this, go listen to the song Wake Up by Eden. I'll show a little, like, Spotify screenshot on screen right now. If you haven't read the book, skip to the timestamp on screen so I can explain why the song fits. Okay. In the song, first of all, I think he sings something about how does it go? Who said you're one in a million? You're so much better than that. Tell me that isn't Atlas singing to Lily. I'm pretty sure he said something along those lines to her in here, like something about like you're so much better than everyone else. I don't know, a much sweeter version of that. And then in the song, he also sings "Things Are Better in America," and then it goes on to explain, like, I don't know, I can't remember how the song goes, but tell me that isn't better in Boston. That breaks my heart. Do you guys understand how painful it was when my sister showed me that song right after I read this? I mean, like, 5 minutes after I read this, I was still crying, and she was like, by the way, I found a song that reminds me of It Ends With Us. So yeah, I just cried even more. Yeah, okay. Spoiler ends here. You guys are safe to watch it. Let's read the first line. I forgot to do that. As I sit here with one foot on either side of the ledge, looking down from 12 stories above the streets of Boston, I can't help but think about suicide. Already going into this, you can tell it's gonna be a ride, to say the least. But yeah, definitely worth it. I think this is a book that just everyone should read. But don't blame me for your therapy bills afterwards. Next up is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is one of the books that I've heard the most about online, but I haven't read it yet. This is one of my, like, summer to-be-read books. I'm gonna probably read it soon. So I actually don't really know anything about it. I know it's about Evelyn Hugo, and I think she's, like, some kind of celebrity. And I believe someone is writing about her life. That is all I know about this. Oh, here's the back, by the way. Let's go see if there's, like, a catchy first line. I don't think I've actually checked it out. Can you come into my office? There we go. So, yeah, I can't say if it's good or not yet, because I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, at least. Fast forward a week later, because, again, I filmed this video a week ago. I actually started on Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so I felt like I'm now qualified to speak of it. So basically, if it wasn't already obvious, we're going through the life story of Evelyn Hugo and her 7 husbands along the way, and it's the kind of contemporary book that sounds really boring, like it's literally just the life story of Evelyn Hugo. But I now trust this author with my life. I might have to read her other books, even though they sound very boring, because, you know, I'm more of a fantasy person, but holy shit. Something about this book was like, I don't know. It's very interesting. I think it's the way that she writes, and then her characters are, like, so well written that I can't help but care. Like, Evelyn, what a boss. Again, I have not finished the book. I'm very close to finishing it. I kind of wanted to talk about this once I had finished it, because I have a feeling that first of all, I'll probably be crying to the end, and, well, I already know that it's a 5-star read for me. I already freaking love it. But yeah, it's the story of Evelyn Hugo and her rise to fame, and she's very, like, manipulative. She's very smart, kind of selfish, but she's written very well, so, like, I love her anyway. I kind of love that she has this, like, that she has this kind of cynical side to her. So yeah, here's the back if you want to read about it. And yeah, this book is so good. I really, really, really like it. This might be one of my favorites, and I haven't even finished it yet. I have a feeling that the end is going to make me be like, oh my god, one of the best books ever, you know? This book has good ratings, and for good reason. Read this book. Next up is Verity, another Colleen Hoover book. I actually started on it right before filming, so this is how far I've come. I read like 40 pages, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll go work on my video some more. So I feel like I can give you guys a little synopsis very quickly. So yeah, it's an extremely tiny book. This thing is so small. I can imagine this being easy to read in like one sitting. Here is the back. I haven't read it because I liked going in and knowing nothing. Let's read the first line before I say anything else. I hear the crack of his skull before the spattering of blood reaches me. Doesn't that sound awesome? Anyway, yeah, I've read like 40 pages. The only thing I know about this book is that it's a thriller. And every time people talk about books with plot twists, this is like the number one book that pops up. So I know there's a plot twist somewhere in here. And everyone seems to love this book, so I'm expecting it to be good. And from what I can tell so far, it's about this author who takes on this job to finish the work of Verity, which is a different author who is unable to finish their series because of like health reasons, I guess. So yeah, that's all I know so far. But I know again, this is thriller, so I'm expecting there to be some like dark shit in here. A lot of like mysteries unfolding and stuff. So yeah, I've definitely heard that it's very good. And this has been one of the books that's popped up whenever people have been talking about books to read to get out of a reading slump. Probably because it's also like very small, and then I have a feeling that once you get to the plot twist, wherever that is and whatever it is, you just probably won't be able to put it down. So yeah, Verity. Okay, next up is Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Let's look these out. This is the the cat and mouse duet. Okay, wait. These are massive. I think they're both like 600 pages. Yeah, 2 books in the series. This is dark romance, and they're spicy, so, you know. Also, check out the trigger warnings, because there's some, first of all, questionable stuff in this one, and then this one is a whole new level of dark. For the love of God, please check out the trigger warning. Oh, there's actually a playlist for these books as well. That's really cool. I think this one has its own playlist as well. And it even has a Pinterest board. Boom. Okay, so here's the back, if you want to pause and read. It's dual perspective. You have the main character, Adeline, who finds out that she has a stalker. So you get to read from her perspective and from the stalker's perspective. And, yeah, the entire plot really is just that she has a stalker, and she kind of likes it. She's kind of into it. I think she likes the thrill, and again, it's spicy, so you can imagine what goes on in here. Anyway, let's check out the first line. The windows of my house tremble from the power of thunder rolling across the skies. So. Oh, and then chapter 1 is, sometimes I have very dark thoughts about my mother. Thoughts no sane daughter should ever have. So yeah, these are very thick, but honestly, they don't take long to read at all. Like, the text is rather big, the pages are very, like, spacey. And the writing is very simple and very easy to get into. And I actually really like the writing because it's so, like, personalized, if that makes any sense. You can tell when you're reading from Adeline's perspective, when you're reading from the stalker's point of view, because they're written in like 2 different ways, and you can tell it feels like you're inside their brains. I love the way it's written. And yeah, there are also like, these are what the chapters look like, really cool. And then most chapters end with like a little diary note thing. Right, I saw one a second ago. Yeah. And then this one also has little diary stuff. So yeah. I actually really enjoyed them, like especially the first one. Again, they're thick books, but they don't feel very long, to be honest. They're easy to read. And yeah, just make sure you check out the trigger warnings. Especially for the second book, because this is a whole new level of dark. This is like kidnapping and human trafficking and a certain 4-letter word that starts with R, and it's not easy. It's not easy to read about. I had to take a lot of breaks. And yeah, this book, you can kind of tell, has been through some stuff. I don't know why this one is in such bad shape, while this one is perfect. Who knows? Quality is very good, and then the paper is very white. I've never had a book with such white paper. I love it. Anyway. Next up is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And it's such a pretty book. Look at this. So pretty. It's thick and it's bigger than a normal sized book. So, big book, but I'm gonna assume it's worth it. I haven't read this yet, but it's one of my most anticipated reads. I'm so excited to read this. Yeah, my sister has read it. She loved it. Everyone I've heard that has read this has loved it, so I am looking forward to this. Here's the back if you want to pause and read about it. Let's go check out the first line. A girl is running for her life. Yeah. So, again, I like to go into things not knowing very much about it. So, I don't know that much about this book, but I do believe it's about, you know, Addie LaRue, obviously. And I'm pretty sure she made some kind of bargain to never die, but the catch is that she will also never be remembered by anyone. Anyone she ever meets, or everyone she ever meets will, you know, they're doomed to forget her. So you have this girl who's wandering Earth forever, but no one will ever remember her until one day someone does. I think that's the plot. I believe it also has a morally gray love interest. So, you know, that's awesome. I think this is contemporary. I'm pretty sure this takes place in this world. But yeah, everyone I've heard that has read this book has loved it. So, you know, high hopes. Next up is the Six of Crows duology. So, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have not read these either, but these are definitely some of my most anticipated reads, because everyone who reads Six of Crows absolutely loves it. I've never heard a bad thing about this book, so it's gotta be good. This is in the Grishaverse. It's like a universe for all these different books. Like, they're all connected in some way. And, it's recommended that you read the Shadow and Bone trilogy before getting into this. I've heard that you don't have to, but it's very confusing if you haven't. So, yeah, I have not started on the Grishaverse yet, though, so I can't really tell you anything about it. Here's the back, if you want to pause and read it. I know it's like a heist book, but I can't tell you any more than that. Found family. Well, yeah, this has an awesome first line, though. But actually, let's check out the map first. Boom. And then a second map. How awesome is that? Juiced had two problems. The moon and his mustache. Tell me that isn't awesome. So, yeah. Super excited to read these. Fantasy, I'm gonna assume. And, yeah. Again, Google the whole Grishaverse, like, order to read to get the full experience. This whole section, honestly, they're like fantasy books that I have not read, so let's just take out these two last ones as well. The first one is Dance of Thieves, and actually both of these are duologies, but I don't own the second book for either of them. This one is like one of the ultimate enemies to lovers books, so I'm super excited to read this. This will probably be my summer read sometime throughout the summer. Should have said a summer read, not the summer read, but no idea what it's about, but here, you can pause if you want to read up about it. And let's go check out the first line. Ooh, a map. 2 maps! Oh my god, even better. Okay. The ghosts are still here. I'm actually really excited for this one. Here, we hunt the flame. This is also a duology. I think the second one is called, like... No, I can't remember what it's called. But I'm pretty sure this is a US edition again, because books are not this floppy over here. And also, I believe this is the US cover anyway. So yeah, no clue what it's about, but here's the back if you want to pause and check it out. I mean, it says, people lived because she killed, people died because he lived. So, if that doesn't sound awesome, I don't know what does. But yeah, let's go check out the first line. And it has a map. Oh, people lived because she killed. So yeah, 2 fantasy books that I've heard tons about without actually knowing anything about them. I've just heard that they're good, so yeah. Check them out, I guess. Again, I recorded this video a week ago, so I bought 3 new books in the meantime. One is this, or one is this. This is one of them. I got the selection. I did not realize that I got a pink version, but whatever. So yeah, this is another, I think it's like a fantasy dystopian series. I have a friend that's read this and loved it, and I think it's more like the softer kind of fantasy. Of course, I don't know if I don't even really know if this is fantasy. I know it's dystopian, at least. Dystopian fairy tale. I believe it's some kind of fight for the prince, but not like a physical fight. That's why I said this is a softer book. I don't know. In a palace of rivals, only one can win his heart. So yeah, I think there's like a bunch of girls trying to, I don't fucking know. I know that people like this book though. So it's a trilogy, and yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to read it. I think it's gonna, because it's rather small as well. Alright, it's a normal sized book, but it feels small to me. And it's just a tiny trilogy. I can imagine this being like a nice, like, cozy thing to sit and read. You know, when I'm not in the mood for like dark fantasy and tears and all that. So yeah, let's go check out the first line actually. When we got the letter in the post, my mother was ecstatic. So yeah. Here's the back if you want to pause and read. The other 3 books in the Raven Cycle series still aren't here yet. So just imagine that they're here. Again, this is the second book, so I can't really look at it and read the first line or anything. But yeah, I have 2 other new books. Here is one of them. An Enchantment of Ravens. It has such a pretty cover and it feels really good. It's very tiny. It's a standalone. Oh, here's the back if you want to read about it. Enemies to lovers, YA, slow burn, fantasy. Yeah, I don't actually know anything else about it. My parlor smelled of linseed oil and spike lavender, and a dab of lead tin yellow glistened on my canvas. I had nearly perfected the color of gadfly's silk jacket. What the Anyway, extremely pretty cover. I'm excited to read this one. And the other new book is down here. It's a massive book. Ugh. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is a pretty cover. Here's the back if you want to read about it. I have not read about it, or I have not read the back here, so I actually have no clue what this is about. But yeah, I know that people love it at least, so I'm excited to read it. There's a tiny map. Cute. It's a very beautiful book. There are many legends about my mother. Boom. Yeah, massive book though. Fantasy, I will assume, but that's about as much as I know. So yeah, next Sunday I'll be going through the final shelf, the side of my shelf here, and then my sister's bookshelf. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.